looking at Revelation chapter 9, and just to quickly recap, Revelation was written to the early church, particularly those in the 7 churches in Asia or Turkey, but they were meant to be read elsewhere to encourage the Christians. And even today, the book has been written to us to encourage us. Now what we know is that John wrote to the churches, and he gave them a report card, and then he went on and talked about the visions that he saw that were going to happen in the last days, or as some said, the near days. Now it's interesting, we're looking at chapter 9, and some people believed that chapter 9 referred to the time when the Roman army came marching in and took over Jerusalem and dispersed the Christians. Now that's been a fairly modern theory, but it's fallen out of favour because the facts are the facts. What we do know is that, and it's getting clearer and clearer, and it's basically unequivocal, that John wrote that around about 90 AD. Could be a little bit earlier, but not much earlier. But the churches that he was writing to then, Ephesus in particular, there are things there that he says that could only have happened around that time, and in one of the other churches it had suffered an earthquake and had to be rebuilt, and it was a prosperous church, and so therefore it happened to happen around that time. So that the Roman invasion, I suppose, of Jerusalem occurred back in 69, 70, whatever it is, AD, I don't know the exact date, right? That was years before John's vision. So he could have been writing about to happen. What is interesting though, by writing about that, the people themselves would have had a very good idea of military might. And it was interesting that in the psalm that we read, and Julie said it, that David was the forerunner of Christ. And we look at many things in the Bible, we find that there is forerunners, or what I call little events that happen to point the way throughout history, you know, that we can take heart in and see that this is happening here, but it's also talking about the very end times. And the interesting thing is that one of the best ways to interpret Revelation is to have a look at Exodus and look at it in the context of captivity in Egypt and the freedom, you know, the plagues that went on and the freedom, and finally into the promised land. That's the context of what Revelation's about. We have been given a promised land to be in heaven with the, you know, new heaven, new earth with the Lord Jesus Christ. So that's the context that we need to look at, and we've had happening as we've been reading it. John saw a scroll that had 7 seals. No one was fit and proper and able to open up those scrolls except the slain lamb stood up, and he was, we know it's Jesus, was able to do and open these scrolls and seals. And the first seal was the white horse, which brought deception to the earth. Red horse, war. Black horse, famine. Pale horse, pestilence. 5th seal, martyrdom and the great tribulation. And the 6th seal, the heavenly signs. Then the 7th seal, but at the moment the 7th seal was opened, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. And then we have the 7 trumpets as a result of those opening of that seal. And then later on we have the 7 bowls. Now, did John do this in chronological order? It appears it could be, but then again it appears that it may not be. And if we look at it in terms of these are just examples of what's about to happen, in the end, we don't know if it's going to be chronological, or just because John opened up it sequentially doesn't mean that's chronologically. And when we look at chapter 9 today, we may think, well, it's not chronological. Because what I believe it's talking about, in part, is the fall of Satan from heaven, which happened, you know, way back. But that's what this is like. It's like a movie story that that goes through. It goes through sequentially, probably chronologically, but every now and then it jumps back to show something that's happened way back and how it all relates with today and what happened back then. So then we find with the seven trumpets, and the song we just sung was about when the trumpet sounds, I'm going to be covered in and protected by the Lord. That's what the important part is. And then when the first four trumpets we saw last week, green grass and a third of the trees are burned up, a third of the sea becomes blood, a third of ships and sea life destroyed, a third of the waters turn bitter, a third of the sun, moon and stars do not shine. So that's those four. It's not quite the same as the horses that we saw previously, because they were doing quarters and so on. This is about the third. And then today we're going to look at the fifth and sixth trumpets and what happens there. We're going to see the locusts wield the beast military power. We're going to see 200 million man army and a third of mankind killed, and then we'll look at the seventh one a little later. So there's seven trumpets, and this is what happens at the blowing of those trumpets. And look, it is difficult to necessarily understand, but you've got to remember, what did the people that was written to see or understand or know? They don't know what we know, and we don't know what they knew. And their perspective of looking at this is different, but I'll tell you one thing, the book was written for them to be encouraged. The book is written for us to be encouraged. So as we read this, you will hear lots and lots of different explanations and meanings. Don't get discouraged by that. Be encouraged by what you see and read and are able to take from it. That's the important thing. So let's have a look. Now as we go through this, I want you to take note, particular note, the sounding of the fifth and sixth trumpets and the significance of the visions when the two trumpets sound. You know, we've had those, these two are going to happen, and have a look at what happens as we see what they did. Uh-oh. Here it is. Thanks, Mary.
And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth. And he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke, like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Then, from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given power, like the power of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to harm the grass of the earth, or any green plant, or any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads.
This is a very strange thing to look at. They were locusts. This is what John is describing. He's describing locusts that were like scorpions. He was describing the opening of a great abyss. If we want to talk about it like an earthquake, the earth opening up, and out of that rose all this smoke and sulphur and fire and so on. And then these locusts came. Now, I've been involved in a swarm of locusts several times when I was living down in the back of hay, and it was just really, it just had this swarm of little grasshoppers, I suppose, just a swarm and swarm. You know, the hay plains are just flat and go forever, but all you saw was this invading army of noise and insects, I suppose, and, you know, you're walking through them, hitting here, now they're dying or whatever, and they were going through and they're taking the wheat and the grasses and just leaving the earth bare. So locusts and grasshoppers eat on vegetation. But these locusts were told not to eat the grass. So they're not normal type locusts. And locusts don't have a leader. They're just a swarm that go off. They're not like bees that have a, you know, but these locusts have got someone in charge of them. So what do we see about this? This is what he's seeing. But what he's also saying is that these locusts were going to destroy those people. These weren't out here to get the earth, the trees, the vegetation. They were out to cause damage and kill people. Who were the people to be killed? All of those who do not have the seal of God on their forehead. What does that remind us about Exodus?
The blood on them.
Blood on the door. The angel of death could pass over those where the blood was on the lintel. So we're seeing some sort of reminiscence. So the people back then would understand that whether it be literally or figuratively, this is what this is about. But what does that mean for us today? Is this talking about what happened back then? Is it talking about what happened 10, 20 years earlier? Is it talking about what happened in the days of Egypt? Talking about the days of Nebuchadnezzar? Well, in one way we don't really know. We get an inkling that it's talking to us as well. We don't really know. So you'll get lots of thoughts and lots of ideas. But what's important is some calamity is going to happen. But it's not going to affect us if we love the Lord. You know, I was talking to someone last week after Revelation, and they said they get a bit upset because of the teachings that they had when they were a child, was that, you know, when the Great Tribulation comes and you're left behind, you know, the rapture happens and you're left behind. And this person said, one stage there, I came home once and looking for my husband and my family, and they weren't there. And I thought, oh no, the rapture's happened, I've been left behind, and I'm terribly upset, and they have this problem of being upset about that. And I can understand what that might feel like. But we'll read a little bit further on that it doesn't matter if you're left behind and all this happens to you, because it's not going to happen to you if you are sealed by God. So it doesn't matter whether you've been raptured or not raptured, however it all works out and falls in. What is important is that you have the seal of God, that you are loved and protected by God. I'm going to deal with that a little bit further on. And this may upset some people theologically. Not my intent. What I'm trying to draw out is what is the best message we can get from this today. Thanks, Mary.
They were allowed to torment them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torment was like the torment of a scorpion when it stings someone. And in those days, people will seek death and will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them.
This is much like what Jesus said in Matthew. You know, in the last days this will sort of happen. This is talking about the people who do not know the Lord. They are going to be tormented. They are going to be tormented. We know that a star has fallen. That, you know, they're going to be tormented. Why Satan's people are going to be tormented, we don't know. Maybe it's the same reason that in the term of Exodus, when they wanted to flee Egypt, the firstborn of the others were killed unless they had the blood on the door, so that God can show his greatness. And what happened back then? Well, Pharaoh decided to let him go, but he did have second thoughts. He might have let him go as a matter of political expediency, but in his heart he hadn't changed. Thanks.
In appearance, the locusts were like horses prepared for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces. Their hair like women's hair, and their teeth like lions' teeth. They had breastplates like breastplates of iron, and the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails and stings like scorpions, and their power to hurt people for 5 months is in their tails. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon.
I'm intrigued by the 5 months. There is, biblical understanding of what the 5 months is. I mean, the Hebrew year was 360 days, and 5 months. Interesting. It just meant that it's not momentum. It's not an instant thing, and it's going to last as long as the locust lasts. This torment. There is a period for it. There's a set period. 5 months. Now, whether it means literally 5 months or you look at certain things in the Bible and try and determine what that 5 months, whether it means 3 years, 3.5 years, or whatever. Who knows? And frankly, who cares? We're being told that this is going to happen. And who is behind all this? The angel at the bottomless pit. Well, we understand. People say that the angel could either be one of Satan's henchmen or Satan himself. Most scholars tend to believe it's Satan himself because it talks the words Abaddon and Apollyon mean the destroyer, the one who destroys, the one who brings destruction. So it's about Satan. So this is Satan's military might. Or it may also be the cancer that the Christian church faces from within. It doesn't matter. There's going to be coming a time of trial whereby people are going to suffer. And if you want to ensure yourself from that suffering, make sure you're sealed with the love of God.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes, yes.
The scorpions are supposed to destroy the evil, but Satan is their king.
Yes,
So they're going to destroy Satan's people.
yes,
So that's strange, isn't it?
it is. Very strange. And the interesting thing is that what it is that, I guess I can only do it in a TV show. You've got all the crooks and the bosses there, and you've got them all around. But this guy didn't do the right thing, so he gets out, he's going to just shoot them in front of the others. For what purpose? To let them know, obey me, or it's going to happen to you too. And they're not being killed, they're being tormented, they're being tortured.
But don't they die at the end of the 5 months?
Well, it says there, and their power they have as king. But yeah, some could die, but they may not die.
I think it said that they're going to die.
Well, yeah, people will die. They'll call for death, but it doesn't matter. The point is, there's millions of them, and I think Satan might be saying, well, here's what you've got to do. Wake up yourself, and you've worked for me, or this is going to happen to you as well. But see, God's got it all in control, and Satan's probably...
He's actually controlling Satan for Satan to destroy his own people. God is.
Well, don't know about controlling him or allowing that to happen. It's a bit like he used Nebuchadnezzar to get the people of Israel to wake up to themselves. And it is weird, isn't it? And we really can't answer that, but maybe this tells us a bit.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claire.
Now, Revelation 9, I'll put this up here to make it clear. It's a highly visual vision, and thus produces an endless variety of unusual interpretations. I can remember back in 1979, 80 or something, I think it might have been Anwar Sadat that died. They all said that he was the Antichrist and he was going to come back from life and all this. There's books written about it. And one novel interpretation is that the star is a human celebrity or ruler whose popularity has been taken away. He falls to earth. Could be. I mean, people sort of have been expecting Hitler to rise again, you know what I mean, after the war. The fallen star then opens a repository and releases a horde of locusts, which to some people sound eerily like the description of a military helicopter, at least in the eyes of John, who would be unfamiliar with a modern helicopter. Stinging tails, the tail road at the end of the tail boom, human-like faces, the pilots in the cockpit, crown-like objects on their head, you know, the thing spinning around would look like a crown, the main rotor blade and iron-like breastplates, the armoured body of a military helicopter. Now, it could be true. I mean, you've got, they talked about in Ezekiel about machines that probably resemble what we know as modern day military tanks. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I mean, there's one today. But we've got to be careful. We've got to be careful when we try to do interpretations of biblical prophecy. All I'm putting up here is to show that how the symbolism or the vision of John could be described to modern day stuff. I think back then, when, you know, it said that Jesus will appear in the sky and we'll all see him, if you're living in it, you say, well, I'm living here, how can someone over there see it? But we today in modern technology know that we get this stuff instantly, whether you're in Rome or in Sydney. So these, you know, back then they had struggled with it. We don't need to struggle. We're just getting the idea that there's something coming, something horrible happening. Now that was the first woe. The first woe was past. Behold, 2 woes are still to come. Thanks, Mary.
Then the 6th angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour, the day, the month and the year, were released to kill 1/3 of mankind.
I don't know what you take out of that. You can look there and you can study what it means and the 4 angels at the great river Euphrates and why they're picking on the Euphrates and not the Melbourne Yarra. Who knows? Who really cares? This, to me, is the message I get. So the 4 angels who had been prepared for the hour, the day, the month and the year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. God has his plan. It's down to the moment. Is there any other biblical story that we know which basically says, maybe I was born just for this moment? Esther. If I perish, I perish. Esther, I may have been just born for this day. All the rest of my life part is irrelevant or not as important as the moment for which God has ordained me to do something for my people. So we have 4 angels. How long do you think they've been standing at the Great River? They just weren't put there yesterday. They have been prepared by God. They've been patiently waiting. Patiently waiting. Look, I did the wrong thing. Might have to just jump that back, John. Yeah. I'll just quickly... Yeah. Okay, I'll do that now, that'll be all right. I'll go back, I think. Yeah, 2 ways. And next, thanks, Mary.
The number of mounted troops was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number. And this is how I saw the horses in my vision, and those who rode them. They wore breastplates the colour of fire, and of sapphire, and of sulphur, and the heads of the horses were like lions' heads, and fire and smoke and sulphur came out of their mouths. By these 3 plagues, a third of mankind was killed by the fire and smoke and sulphur coming out of their mouths. For the power of the horses is in their mouths and in their tails, for their tails are like serpents with heads, and by means of them they wound.
John's having a weird vision, and he's trying to describe it. We might even see them as modern day tanks and so on. We don't know, it doesn't matter. And why is Satan allowing these people to kill? Because he becomes theirs. When they're dead, they're his. They're not Jesus's. They're his. He's suddenly getting all these people into hell with him. He's collecting his army. He thinks he's going to win by getting these people. Who knows? But there's a warning there for us. This is going to happen.
The rest of mankind, who were not killed by these plagues, did not repent of the works of their hands, nor give up worshipping demons and idols of gold and silver and bronze and stone and wood, which cannot see, or hear, or walk, nor did they repent of their murders, or their sorceries, or their sexual immorality, or their thefts.
They just had all this done to them, and they still haven't learnt the lesson. The Egyptians, Pharaoh, had all that done to him, and he's changed his mind. He still hasn't learned his lesson. So what we're getting told here, these things are going to happen for people to come to know the Lord Jesus Christ. But they're not going to do it. We have a job to do. That's to let others know that Jesus loves us. That if you want to be protected from that, you need to know him and be covered in his blood, to be protected, to be sealed. That's what's important. It just makes my mind boggle. All this happens and they don't get it. What did Jesus say? He who has ears, let him hear. Their eyes are closed, they can't see. These are my take-home points. Locusts plague the earth, but Christians are protected by God's grace. It doesn't matter whether you're in the days of the Romans or the days of the Americans or today. Locusts will plague the earth, but we are protected by God's love and grace. That's the take-home message. And God has prepared us for the moment. Just as he prepared those angels, he's prepared us. We may escape all this. We may not. But that does not mean that God loves us any less. We are no less loved by God whether we are kept from or kept in. Did God love Daniel less because he allowed him to go into the lion's den where he kept him? Or Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, who he allowed to go into the fiery furnace and kept them? He could have kept them out, but he let them go through it. Did he love them less? No. But he had a special plan and purpose for them. It says God knows the hairs on our head. God has prepared us for the day, the hour, the week and the year. Are you ready? Are you going to heaven? Do you have that assurance? If you are not sure whether you are sealed by God's love, then please have a chat with me. I'll take you through it. God does not want us to be frightened into heaven. He wants us to be loved into heaven. And what do we say together when we read this? To him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be blessing and honour and glory and might forever and ever. Amen.